While I'm busy working on this upcoming project, which is going to be a beast, let me tell you, I wanted to tell you about this week's video. These are 3 quick ones I shot. I was going to use them for shorts or for a rainy day, and it's a rainy day. So I packaged them into this 3 for 4 you. First thing you're going to see is the Harmony guitar that I've worked on before, but needs a new nut, so we're going to put a graphite nut on that. Second thing is a Fender amp that needs new tubes, so we're going to retube a Fender amp. And then the last thing, kind of exciting, is the return of Chibson Joe, the TV yellow Chibson that I worked through a couple months ago. That thing finally needs a new bridge, as I called in the video. So enjoy! Alright, let's do a quick fix. This is a Harmony from the 60s, belongs to the Amazing J. Loves playing it. It's got great tone, great sound. The one problem it's having is this high E string falls off the edge up through here. Normally I would look down here to see what the spacing is and maybe loosen the back plate of the neck and tweak this either way to make these strings even up here, which would make them even up here. However, that's pretty straight there. If I do any tweaking, I'm just going to probably make the low E string fall off this edge. So it needs a new nut. So I did the right thing. Went and got a new black tusk nut, and that's going to fit perfectly on there. And the spacing on this new one is just a hair closer, so it should pull us away from the edge of the fretboard up here. So let's start doing that. You know, one of the most invaluable tools that you can have on your bench if you're working on guitars or small things is a micrometer or a micrometer, whatever you want to call it. I got this one at Harbor Freight for, I don't know, 10 or 12 bucks a couple years ago, and it gives you fine measurements. You can be in here with a ruler or a tape measure and you'll get close, but I mean, you're not going to get as accurate as this. So for instance, you know, I'm trying to figure out what the exact nut I should order. The Tusk site themselves, they have a lot of Graphtec has tons of nuts, different measurements. You know, you can get a blank if you had to, but you can get something pretty close. So for instance, I'm going to measure my neck here. That's 45. So I should have a nut around 45. I think this was the closest one. It's 45.42, so I'll have to shave a little off. Right here, 4.41 in my width. And this one is actually around 5 in width. And then depth, or height, about 8.4. 8.2, and also I gotten a nut with a little radius at the top that would match the top of the neck too. So this is pretty much the closest nut I could find on their site, and we wanted to go with a graphite, a black one. So that's going to work. And just a couple little mods with some sandpaper, maybe a little file, but I think that'll fit in there pretty good. So let's take the strings off and get this old nut out. He had upgraded this at one point with the locking tuners. I'm going to take this truss rod cover like right off. Easier to get in there with our nut. That's not the original truss rod cover either. Yeah, that one was super glued in there. Chipped off the spot up here. That sucks. Alright. Alright, I got some CA glue here. And a little brush. I don't want a lot. I don't want this pushing itself out when I press this down. But I definitely want some in here. Alright, that'll do. Alright, comparing the new nut to the old nut, there's a little height discrepancy. So I want that new one to sit up just a little bit taller. I'm going to use the real wood edge veneer. This is like an oak. Real thin, you can cut it with scissors. Got myself a little strip cut here. I'm going to put that right there. And this stuff goes on with an iron. Very quickly. This glue will go off. And you get a couple seconds after you take the iron off to kind of move it around and center it where you want it. So, right there. Nice. The glue's pretty much gone off as soon as it dries. And I like to secure my nuts with hide glue. Hide your nuts. Comes out quick. It's really, this is kind of thin, this bottle I have. Just kind of want to spread it along the bottom. And I think a little here across the front where it touches the fretboard. Sitting where I want it. Alright. Before that hide glue goes off, this would be a good opportunity to check your spacing. 4.36. And that's at about 3.7. Four, 3.8, there. That's about equal right there. Alright, the nut's set up. That looks awesome in there. I got some wax here on the fretboard. I'll take some of that off. Alright, this one always gets set up with 10s. Got some boomers here. These are the locker. They roll up here from the bottom, but you can still string it up the way you normally would. So I'm going to go around once, and on my second go around, push it through the hole. And roll that, tighten that up. There we go. Easy as that. This guitar has a movable bridge, which will set once we get all the strings on, and that's kind of how you set your intonation. Alright, that's tuned up. I just want to set the intonation. Do that by moving this bridge forward or backwards. So we're going to tune to an E. Check our harmonic there. And press down on the 12th and see what the difference is. So right there, it's on. When I pluck at the 12th fret, it's sharp. So sharp, we want to move it back a little bit. If it was flat, we'd move it forward. So I'm just going to move that bridge back a little bit with my fingers. Retune this to an E. Check our 12th. And we're still sharp. Alright, so if you set it at the high E and the low E, there's really not much more you can do from there. Alright, I'm liking that. That feels pretty good. Quick fix. Alright, another quick fix for you. This is a Fender Blues Jr. This one here belongs to my friend Nils. It is his favorite amp. He takes it out everywhere. But recently it hasn't been sounding that good. And he says that it sounds distorted when it's on the clean channel. So we took off the back cover and spot something almost immediately. Let's see if you can see. One of these things is not like the other. What is that? I don't think that's cocaine. That is a busted tube. And it is busted up right at the top of the tube itself. So he went and he bought a whole new set of tubes, some Ruby tubes and some Sovtech tubes. So I'm going to get into this and show you how you change out your tubes. It's nothing to be afraid of. So let's do it. So you don't have to wear rubber gloves when you're changing out your tubes. They're not halogen bulbs. They're not going to burn up from the oil on your hands. But I don't want to leave my fingerprints all over everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this one. We're just going to wiggle it out ever so slowly. Need my magnifying glass for this one. EL84S. Those must be those. This is the one I gotta be careful of because it's glass. And as you can hear it cracking in my hand. Lost a pin too. Got glass flakes going everywhere. Taking that out was a little bit of a chore. As you can see, I left a pin by accident, so we're going to try to gently pull that out. There we go. Alright. These ones are the AX7. Alright, so this one down on the far end, I believe is a preamp. And just going to line up your pins. There's always one pin missing there, so you're not going to put it in the wrong spot. Until it sits nice and tight and flat. Beautiful. And I'm going to put this back in here because there's nothing wrong with that. That one wasn't busted at all. These are my two matched ones. They have to be matched, I'm told. Again, line up your pins. A little straight up pressure. Just a little bit of wiggle. Again, we'll put those back. There's nothing wrong with those, and they're matched. Alright, using my long guys in the front. This is where my broken one was. They're nice now. The spring hook's in right here. And right underneath that hook there. I'm going to set these right into the grommets. They're sitting nice, beautiful. So you got your spring on the back and your spring on the front. Holds even pressure here on both of them. And you have rubber grommets that cradle the bottom of the tubes. So we'll take his one good power tube there and put that back. Alright, so let's try it out. Nearly forgot to take my stickers off. Alright, don't forget to take your labels off. I nearly forgot on that one. So I let it warm up for about 10 minutes, just wanted to see how those were performing. The one on the right does burn a little brighter. I'm going to look into that. And that is the one that was busted last time, so I don't know if that being a little bit brighter has something to do with that, but we'll look into it. But it sounds pretty good. It's not distorting now. So I was reading online that having one tube glow a little brighter than the others is okay. It's just the way that they're manufactured. If it's really bright, then you might have an issue. But, you know, if it doesn't burn out and your amp sounds fine, then send it. So that one's done. Getting this one back to the owner so we can get back out on the circuit. Alright, hopefully another quick one here. On the bench is the Chibson. I'm going to call this one Chibson Joe. That's a pretty good name for it. I did a video on this one about 6 months ago, just going through the whole thing, see what a Chibson was all about, give it a good setup for the player. And it's back on the bench. The complaint is that it's a little buzzy and jangly through here. The owner says it reminds him of a sitar. So, just looking at it real quick. The neck's a little flat. I think I want to give it a little relief. And the bridge, I'm coming back to the bridge. This is what I said about the bridge when I had it in here 6 months ago. Pretty good. Upgrades I might do on this, because it is a nice player. I might think about, very first, is getting rid of this bridge. This bridge is bad. Very loose on the saddles. Like, I think after every couple tunings, you might have to make sure the saddles are in the right spot because they float a lot. There's some floating on a real Les Paul bridge, but not as much as floating as that. So yeah, this bridge is just kind of janky. You know, a real Gibson bridge would be milled way closer so the saddles are a little tighter. You wouldn't be able to move them with your fingers that much. So we're going to upgrade it. And, you know, just spent a couple bucks. I didn't go too crazy. Oh, Allen wrench. I didn't go too crazy, but we did get a new saddle for it. It's wrapped up here just like candy. And that saddle will go there. And this one's a lot more tighter tolerances. And it's got the roller top saddles, which I think will help with that buzzing. I think you get a lot of buzzing from these types of saddles that come up to a point. So we're going to go with the roller on that. We're going to do a string change. I think watching the video that I did, I put 9s on there. And I'm going to recheck the frets. It looks like the last time it was here, I had problems with the 12th, the 13th, the 15th, and the 17th. So I'm going to have a look at those again too, just to make sure that they're all set correctly. So let's take some strings off of it and get this bridge on there. Alright, there's the old saddle. Nothing. It's the old saddle. New one. Alright, so our pins aren't going to fit over these, so I'm hoping that our new posts here are going to be a direct fit and I don't have to pull those plugs out. So I went through the fretboard off camera. A couple frets I took care of, polished them up, ready to put this bridge on and some new strings. If you see this, it's got, you know, ovaled out ends and set screws in case your setup is, you know, way off from where it should be. You've got a little more adjustment. I want to put this right in the center. I think that's a good spot for it to be. And I don't think it really matters which way this goes. I was looking at the way that they have this set up, and I think it should be fine. Alright, that's nice and tight there. They did give me a new tailpiece, but it looks exactly the same as the old tailpiece. I'll use the new one. I went back and watched my video to see what I did the first time on this fretboard, and it was completely different frets that were off, so that was kind of weird. Last time I did this guitar I put 9s on it, so I'm going to do that again. I got it tuned up. The first thing I want to do is to give some relief to this neck. I don't know if it's flattened out over the summer humidity or what, but it is flat and straight as an arrow. And I want to take that off a little bit, so I'm going to loosen it. Right about there gives you a nice slight bow. Tune it again, and then I can start working through intonation. But these are the type you're going to have to loosen up the string to get any adjustment. So we'll figure out where our E is. That's pretty damn close. is up as far as it's going to go. It still needs to come forward. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move the bridge up a little bit from those points. We're going to tighten up these set screws so that there's no vibration or rattling going on. That's a pain in the butt, but what are you going to do? That sounds much better. I think that buzz is kind of gone, so that's a good thing. The new bridge looks great on there. Much better than that old bridge. Pack up this stuff. And make sure to include his Allen wrenches that go with his new bridge in his case. And this one should be good to go. Alright, there you go, Chibson fixed. It's sounding amazing, feels great, the owner's very happy with it. Sometimes all you need to do is change out one cheap part for another cheap part. That's all you need. If you made it this far in the video, and you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because you don't want to miss the upcoming epic build of this monster. And it's going to have quite a story. So I want to thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up for filming it for you. We'll talk again soon.